Hi everyone, it's Adrienne from Adrienne Berry Designs, and here I am today with another tutorial in my art journal. And today I thought I would talk about writing in your journal. Some people don't do this, and some people do. Some people just want to, paint, collage, whatever, clip out words from magazines. But I find that a lot of people don't actually write in their journals. And so I'm curious about that. I know that over on my social medias, because I do a lot of writing in my journals, and I've noticed that people will comment and say, oh, I could never write in my journal. Oh, I could never do that. Or I don't like my handwriting, or, just multiple different reasons. And so it always fascinates me because I'm like, I don't get that, because, your journals, it's yours. It's your space to do whatever you want. Even if, you don't like your handwriting, you don't have to show it to people. So, I thought I would kind of dive into that a little bit and maybe show you some of my pages where I have writing in there. I do big messy writing and I use quotes and stuff. Let's see here. Or, you can type out words. Sometimes I type things up and put them in here. Here's a big part where I did writing. I did some more writing here. Different types of writing. This is my handwriting here. And as you can see, I have different types of handwriting. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. And you can also hide your writing. I think sometimes people are afraid that someone's going to find their journal and read it or whatever. Sometimes I do this where I just write and then I cover it up and you can't really see what I said. So I thought I would dive into that today, do a spread and add some writing to it. But I wanted to talk about the writing itself. For the people who that don't like your handwriting, I would say try to write a different way. I myself have come up with a bunch of different ways that I do my handwriting. And I actually had a journal where I did this, and I actually sent it off to publication for an art magazine, and I never got my journal back. So I would love to show you that, what I did. So I'm going to have to kind of recreate it here. So, and of course there's many different types of pens, maybe it's just the pen that you're using that you don't like. So I'm going to show you some different ways that I write, and I'm going to use that sentence, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, because if anybody knows this from school, this is the sentence that has every letter from the alphabet in it. So I use that when I want to try different types of handwriting. So the first one I'm going to do is just the way that I write, that I learned, growing up, kind of just go back to the basics. One thing I would say is to just maybe start with the alphabet, just practice writing. I think I'm going to have to stop talking about during this. Chai. W, X, Y, Z. And then do it in lowercase. And then, you can do the same thing, keep going in cursive. So I'm just going to do it in print first, this sentence, the way that I write in print. and then I'm going to do it in my cursive handwriting. And well, I'm going to write just the way that I write because sometimes I mix print and cursive, but I'll do it in full cursive. I don't like full cursive. Like, I don't like, this is how I would have learned if I was in school, when I was in school. Like, this is, oops, how they teach us. So it looks very elementary. Got to do that Z. I always struggle with that. So that's how I would have learned to write my cursive. But then this is the way that I just write. And see, I do my, so see, I mixed in, I did a print T and a print Z. And then I did cursive the rest. So now I would say, try to write a different way. Like, if you don't like the way that you write, like, you can, now for me it's a little bit harder because I'm left-handed, but you know, try to slant your writing. And if you don't like that, maybe slant the other way then. Like that. So you just kind of practice, you know, and maybe it's the type of the pen that you're using. You know, I like to write a lot in markers and Sharpies and things like that, or just use a different color. You know, one of my favorite pens to write with is these Papermate pens. Because sometimes it's the tip, you know, so you just got to practice. And I did some other samples here. Let's see. So this is like just my normal writing that I used with this pen. This pen was really good. This is a Uniball Signo pen. And so I just wrote, and then this is when I did a slanted one. And then this is when I used this big fat Sharpie, and I just wrote really big. And so you can't even really tell what it says if you, unless you really look. But when I do this, I just write in runs. I don't separate the words. I connect all the words as if it's just one long word, and then people can't really tell what you're saying. So that's a way to hide your writing. So now I'm going to show you how to incorporate this into the book. And you know, another thing I wanted to say is there are a lot of books out there about writing. I mean, go to Amazon. You can look up handwriting books, calligraphy books. There's a bunch of art books, and I will put these in I have a link in the description to my Amazon storefront. So I'll put these books in there. But there's The Art of Whimsical Writing, or no, The Art of Whimsical Lettering by Tracy Bautista. There's Creative Lettering Workshop. There's another creative lettering book, I think by Jenny Doe. Those are mixed media artists. So just get one of those books and, you know, maybe find from there different ways to write, but you're really not going to know unless you just practice. So the next thing is that I talked about is when people's like say, I can't write in my journal, you know? So what I say to that is then maybe, and this is what I do sometimes, I write in the background and then I cover it up. So today I'm going to do a collage based on something that I'm going through right now. And I'm going to show you, you know, I think another thing is, I think people think their journals and stuff need to be perfect and pretty and everything needs to match. And it doesn't. This is your book. This is for you. This is how you want it to be. So you can do whatever you want in it. It's your rules. It's your book. So I'm having a trying situation today with, we're having a garage built, and today it was supposed to be finished. The garage door was supposed to be installed. And we even canceled our vacation for this. And we just found out today that the people didn't pick up a certain part and it's not going to be done till Thursday now. So we are really not happy. We're trying to be calm about it because this has been a 9-month process. And so I'm mad about it. I'm frustrated. So I'm going to put all that out into my journal. You know, I think people think you're supposed to, you know, write pretty things, but I mean, anybody who knows, who kept a diary growing up, you poured out your deepest feelings and emotions in that thing, no matter what they were. So why are we afraid to do that as adults? You know? So I am going to write about that on the background here, and then I'm going to cover it up with some collage things. And so I'm going to show you, I'm going to do this style where I just wrote with the Sharpie really big in one sentence. So I might put some music to this. We'll see. So as you can see, I just did, this one was a little bit neater, but I just went messy because I let my frustration come out with the writing and I just went for it. So I started this way and I went this way because there's no rule saying that you have to write left to right, you know, vertical, write horizontal too, you know, it's like that's a pattern. So you've just put a pattern into your book. So now I'm just going to glue some collage elements down, and I thought that I'm gluing papers down from the garage project itself. I think this had to do with the schematics or something. So I'm just going to glue this right on top of my writing. And then, you know what, after you do this, you could just paint on top of it. You know, if you don't want anybody to see it, paint on top of it. You know, you can take something like a crayon or something and go over it, you know, add some more so people can't really read it, you know, if you're really, really worried about it. So I am just going to glue these images down. So I'm just documenting what's happened today, recording the process that we're in. Just put that down. And here's a picture of the garage. This is how far we've gotten, but we just don't have the door. So that's what we thought was happening today. That's the part that we are not happy about. We thought we were at the home stretch. So I'll put that there. And then I had This is a part, this was from the engineer drawings. This is the pitch of the garage, the roof. So let me put that way. And then this is the name of the company, Superior Builders, aiming for above and beyond. Well, I can tell you today we are not feeling like they are going above and beyond. In fact, we have not heard from anybody since this morning, and so that's making us even more not happy. And then I thought I would put this down because we decided to take a break and have lunch. Just take a breather. So I'll put that there. And then I think I'm going to, and I'm going to save these that I wrote on. I'm going to save these and put these in my scrap bin, and I will use these for future collages. I'll just tear them up and use them in my collage pages. So I have a blank piece of paper here. And with this, I'm going to write on this, and then I'm going to add it in. Now I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to write in my nice handwriting. And I think I might do it in red too, because I got red here. I think that'll like give it a pop. And you know, I don't know about you, but red has multiple meanings. It could be love. I think we more often think of anger with red. You know, that phrase, that thing, seeing red. So I think I'm going to write about that here in red with this Sharpie. I like these fine point Sharpies. This is no extra fine point. Let me see. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't dead. So I'm going to do some more writing here, and I think I will put this to music again. So I've got that done. And so basically, I just wrote about the experience and what's happened today. And even, see, I've just torn some off. I mean, who cares? And here, like, I messed up my lettering a little bit. And usually I'm very anal. I will, well, I used to. I would rip this up and start over again just because I messed up one letter. But I've been learning to let that go. So, you know, it's just, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be 100% perfect. So I think I'm going to glue that there. And, you know, just so I can look back on this in the future, and as bad as it seems right now, I'm sure I'll look back on it one day and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was a trial that we went through, but it's over, it's gone, and it's in the past. Sometimes that's a good thing about journaling, to remember things that you came through. Okay, so now because I have this red, I think I'm going to do this, Superior Builders. Not. That's how I feel. Let's let's see, and I think I'm going to add some red. Just show you some of the different writing instruments I have here. Because I was just sitting here thinking maybe I shouldn't have that on there because this is out here. Maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't put this out here. I mean, it's been seen. Maybe I need to clip this out. But I love, paint pens are great. And these come in so many different sizes. Let me just show you real quick. So we've got, these are millimeter. So this is 8 millimeter. This is says 1.8 to 2.5. Oh, it says chisel shaped, bullet shaped. This is another bullet shaped, but it's smaller. I can just show you how they come out. See how thick they are. And then the really fine point one. These are great markers. I mean, it's just like paint. So I was thinking of doing, just adding some marks, you know, to pull the red in over here. Okay. We can use that. Is this the fine one? The fine one. So I'm going to use that one. We used the big Sharpie. This is just a writing pen. I could just say the garage so far. Here's another Sharpie. This is just like the red one. Oh no, this is a really fine one. Ultra fine point. This is extra fine point, ultra fine point. This one might be dead actually. Oh no, it's not. Maybe I'll do something funny here, like where's the door? That's my normal handwriting, how I write all the time. We've got a black Sharpie, fine point. There's so many different points of pens you can get. So I would just say, practice. This is a Food Ball 1.5. I love these pens. They go on really smooth. I think this one's, I use them so much. Uniball has really good pens. I love these pens. This is a really good smooth pen. And then I have some of the Neocolor 2 water-soluble wax pastels. And these, you can use water with these. I'll just show you. See that? Those are really neat. I love these. Then there's jelly pens. These are the souffle pens. These are, this is Uniball again. These are the Signo pens. These are metallics. And then these, I just got these at my Dollar General. It's a gel pen and they're glitter. Let's see if I can. See all the different types of handwriting I'm using, all caps there. And then this is one of my favorite things that I've been doing now when I write really big. Let's see, maybe I'll use the black one. See, all caps, and see, you move the letters around, but then I add like these little swoopies on them to give them a little extra character. So you just have to come up with your own style. You just got to practice, and it, you know, just practice like this on paper until you, if you're not ready to put it in your journal yet. See, like that. And then sometimes I like to take the glitter pens and like add shading onto them. This doesn't have to be perfect right now. I'm just doing it for the purpose of showing you. And then even, you know, make it a little bit more whimsical, like add some little curlies on it or something. Something like that. Or what I do sometimes on mine, you know, I fill in the letters. That gives it another pop. And then what I always like to do, I always like to date my pages so I can go back and remember when things happened. So yeah, so there we go. I hope this helped you. I hope this maybe inspired you to add your writing to your journals. Just practice. I would say don't steal somebody else's writing style, because that's never okay, but glean from it, take it, and then make it your own. Make it unique to you. Add little elements that will make it be, you know, yours and unique to you and your style. See, now I'm just getting into doodling, you know, just doodle, have fun with it. So there you go. I hope that this inspired you today. I really, really hope that it did inspire you to write in your journal, to not be afraid, to try to find your style and just get creative with your writing. Who knows, you might just create a whole new way of writing, you know, and put it in your arsenal for your future projects. So until next time, if you could like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.